What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Insights into a Soul. I'm your host, Torin. We've made it. 2021, folks. We are here. Happy New Year to everyone. I guess it's kind of like the official start of Season 2 of Insights. Been doing this for just over a year now. And, we had our last episode where we kind of recapped 2020 for ourselves and how we changed, what we learned. So this episode, I want to dive into what does the future look like? What does life look like going forward? What are we going to do differently? And I'm not talking resolutions, because resolutions are made and then broken before you even start them. It's like, hey, I'm going to eat healthier in 2021. And then that same day you're snacking on cake instead of celery. You know, you say you're going to go to the gym, sign up for a gym membership, and then you're paying for it 6 months later. You forgot all about it. You're still paying for it. So resolutions, I think, are fun and all, but they're not serious. Like, what we need to look at is we need to look at serious change, right? New habits, new outlooks, changing your mentality, changing your perspective. And I think one thing I've heard a lot of people say is, I want to go back to normal. When are we going to go back to normal with the pandemic, with everything going on? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to life before this pandemic. I don't want to go back to quote unquote normal. I want to create a new normal. I think that lines up with my thoughts on resolutions and all that stuff right now. See, normal for me before this pandemic was dead inside. I don't want this to sound morbid or drastic, but if I'm being completely honest with myself, it was me not living life to my fullest potential. You know, I was in a relationship, a marriage that wasn't healthy and that we realized needed to change. So we made some drastic changes and we're no longer together. Which that's episodes 1 through who knows how many, where I go back and I unpack that. If you want to find out about my past, go ahead and listen to that. But since then, a lot's happened. We've built our friendship and we have a good relationship now, and we're talking and it's good. It's healthy. She's growing. I'm growing. Things are better in that arena for us as individuals. So I don't want to go back to normal, because what else? Let's look at my normal beforehand. So maybe that's an exercise that we can do today. Look at your normal before the pandemic, before the beginning of 2020, because things were still quote unquote normal then, looking weird, but it was normal. What did things look like? Okay, so I was not who I am now. I can tell you that. I was not full of life. I was depressed a lot. I struggled with a lot of things. Still struggle with creativity, but I think that's a constant struggle of us creatives. I wasn't happy overall. I was very critical of myself. I was very hard on myself. I didn't have focus or direction. I had a lot of things I wanted to do, but nothing I pursued. I think that even happened a little bit into the pandemic. But yeah, 2020 wasn't great. I don't want to go back to normal. Now, I grew a lot in 2020, as we talked about last episode. I've grown immensely during 2020. And I think, as a result of the pandemic forcing me to stay at home, I've grown, I've focused, I've honed in on some things. But now it's 2021, folks. It's a new year, new you. Hashtags all over the place. You love them, you hate them. We're doing it. Hashtag new year, new you. So what do I want my life to look like going forward? That is the big question. I think that's a beautiful question that we realize, or maybe we don't realize, that we can ask ourselves. What do we want our lives to look like going forward? What do we want the new normal to be? I think for me, in this strange time, throughout this year, as I've said before, my streaming has kind of taken off and done some stuff. So now I am connected more with people through Zoom and through virtual online stuff, gaming and all that. So I'm able to connect more with people, reach more people than I was able to reach before, make new friendships and relationships. I didn't really go out a lot. I've never been a partier or a go to clubs and bars and stuff type person. So this has been a great way for me to go out and kind of connect with new people and build new relationships. And I've built this community around mental health and around supporting others and creators and content creators and streamers and stuff. And so that's been great. So what do I want 2021 to look like? I want 2021 to be more positive. I want to have a more positive outlook on things, on my job, on my personal life. I'm going to go back to school this year. I'm working on that. I got to pay off some debts first, so that I can re-enroll in my grad school and finish my degree, because I want to get my degree in counseling and psychology. I want to start doing studies on gamers and people who spend time at home and the mentality behind that and their mental health and their mental state. Because I think it's a group that's underserved, that needs advocates, that needs people to look at their lives and help them. There's a lot of these people I've met that are crying out for help, that are crying out for community, that are crying out for love. And so I want to focus in on that. 2021, I'm going to focus on my streaming more. But I'm going to focus on that and turn it into something and make a little bit of money off of it so I can fund these side things for myself. But obviously, I'm going to continue to push and get healthier, still losing weight, still slimming down. But I want to get serious about my workouts. And I'm not going to do the whole gym fad thing. But I'm going to be more conscious of how I eat and what I eat and what I do for workouts. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. That's the practical. But what do I want to see myself become more of this year? Let's look deeper. Let's look beyond the list. And I think that's what resolutions are. Resolutions are just lists of stuff we want to do. Let's look deeper into what we're going to do in ourselves. This year, I want to love more. I want to love myself more. I'm going to practice speaking more positively about myself, being more positive towards myself, loving myself, building myself up, and then also building up others. You know, I'm going to be more conscious of taking time for myself, being healthier, better sleep patterns, you know, better schedules, better structure, so that I can be the best version of myself. I'm going to focus in more and hone in more a little bit on my passions and my pursuits, in that, you know, I find that I stretch myself too thin. I'm all over the place. You know, I want to do 15 different things, so I end up pursuing those things, and I never really become great at any of them. I'm okay at a lot of them, but I'm never great at anything. I think that's the thing. I want to be great. You know, I want to be really good at some things. Saw a quote the other day. Let me pull this guy up on here. But the quote is by John Kim, the angry therapist. And he says, "Be the person that changes the temperature of the room. Turn your dial from judgment to wonder. Lean into the unknown. Step on stars. Fuck well-rounded. Sharpen your edges." And I think that really resonated with me because, like I said, I've always been good at a lot of things, but not great at anything. And I think that's what I want to do. I want to be, for so long, I wanted to be well-rounded. I want to be able to do so many things and not focused in on what drives me. What's my passion? Where do I excel? I'm good at something. Doesn't mean I excel there. Doesn't mean that that's where I should live and dwell. Maybe it is for a season, but then you move on. That's the thing, is we're constantly evolving and moving. So you need to pay attention to the times and the signs and your flow in your body. And again, I'm not talking chakras and all that stuff and like universal flow. There is some weird science to it, I believe. But I think we need to be in tune with ourselves. So we need to know ourselves, know thyself, so that when the times change, when the mood changes, your body, your heart, your soul, your mind is telling you it's time to do something different. And we try and we push for so long to pursue the things that don't really drive us. Maybe they do for a season, and that's okay. You learn things in that season. You learn things through that time. You know, for a while, Maybe I was really good at certain types of video production. But maybe it's time to move on past that. It's time to elevate and evolve to a new level. Maybe it's a different aspect of video. Maybe it's a different aspect of photography. Maybe it's a different aspect of content creation for my personal stuff. I think I have talent there. So maybe it's time to dig into that. And I think for me, it's time to elevate into my psychology, into the people, and dive into that, because it's really ultimately where my heart is calling me to, which I can still utilize my creative talents and abilities. But that's really where I need to go, where I need to pursue. But with that, I need to stop trying to be well-rounded. I need to sharpen my edges. I need to focus. So I need to focus, and I'm going to focus on my streaming, my creativity, on my podcast, obviously, here we are, and on school, on finishing my degree in psychology and getting licensed as a professional counselor. That's my personal stuff that I'm going to work on. Professional stuff, at my job, I'm going to look and identify where I can grow and where my team can grow, and try to help be that motivator, that catalyst to help others grow, but also grow myself. What new skills do I need to look into that I can lean into heavier, that maybe there's gaps on the team where I can build those skills up, and I can be the clutch person in that area that can help elevate the whole team. And then how can I identify and help others around me? Because I'm huge on helping others identify what they want to do, their passions, and where they want to grow. And I think, especially in this crazy time, we've all gotten into these rhythms, these systems of, I don't want to say complacency, but we do. We kind of glide along. We get stuff done, and we do it well. We do it with excellence. And I'm not talking just work. I'm talking personal. But I think we can be better. So 2021, I want to be better. I want to be more focused. I want to be more sharp. That means I'm going to be reading more. And it's not resolutions. This is just stuff I've been wanting to do. I'm finally like, it's time. It's time to hit the reset button. It's time to focus in. And it's time to do this stuff that I've been wanting to do, because it's going to make me a better person at the end of the day overall. For who? Not for anybody else, not to impress anybody, for myself. Because I want to do this for me. I want to be a better person. I want to be the best version of myself. And I want to feel like I'm living up to my potential. Like I'm leaning in and living into my calling. So that's my challenge for you guys today. 2020 is gone. 2021 is here. When the clock struck midnight, nothing changed. Everything's the same. The only thing that changed is the date. But with that comes this existential mindset, this interesting mechanic in our brain that clicks over and says, oh, new year, everything's completely different. Look, if that's what helps get you motivated, awesome. Cling to it. Do it. But don't make empty resolutions. Don't say you're going to do stuff and then not do it, not follow through. Be a person that follows through. Be a person that gets stuff done. If you want to achieve something, achieve it. If you want to push for something, push for it. My challenge to you is look at 2021, look at the opportunities that are going to present themselves. And we don't even know the opportunities that are going to present ourselves in 2021. I think 2021 is going to be a great year for a lot of people, myself included. And I'm not speaking like prosperity, like, oh, you're going to be rich if you just claim it. None of that garbage. I think 2021 has so much potential for us because 2020 really forced us to reset our mindset, to look at the world differently from a new perspective, and to challenge ourselves in different ways and think differently. Think outside the box. We evolved. Like my supervisor at work sent this group message and talked about 2020. While there was a lot of bad that happened, there was a lot of pain, there was a lot of suffering. At the end of the day, there's a lot of good that came out of it too. Let's focus on that good. We know what the bad was. We know what the past was. We know what the pain was. It's like my relationship. I know what the pain was. I know what happened. I know the bad stuff. We don't need to keep reliving it. Let's look at the potential, at what is and what could be. Let's look at the positives that came out of it. The positives that came out of my relationship. My ex-wife and I have a better friendship now than we had when we were married. I'm a better person now than when I was. I'm more focused on myself. I'm more aware of myself. I'm more true to myself. I'm a better friend to those around me. I'm a better support for people, and I feel like I'm a better coworker. My mind is becoming clearer. My focus is becoming clearer. I'm less distracted. I'm spending less time trying to be someone I thought somebody else wanted, and I'm being myself, who I am, who I feel I am, and who I feel I'm supposed to be. I'm listening to my heart, my mind, my soul. I'm moving forward, and I'm pursuing things, and with that mindset, that's how I'm going to 2021. With work, we found new ways to do work. We found new ways to be efficient, to produce content, to be creative. We unlocked creative potential we didn't realize we had because we didn't know we needed it. We adapted to the times. We overcame. So here we are. Look at the positives. We're more united. We're stronger. We're more aware of things, more conscious. We're aware of issues in our society, and we're talking about them now. We're talking more about politics than we did in the past, and I hate politics, and I don't deal with it. But we're talking as communities. We're talking as people. We're more aware of things. And I feel because of this, we have a longing now for community more than ever before. And we also have the thoughts and the revelation that there's other people out there besides ourselves that want community. Oh, shit. I want community. I want connection. Maybe there's other people out there, and you realize how selfish you've been. And that there's other people that have been out there waiting and longing for someone just to love them and accept them and to focus on them. And now we're in that world. We're in that time where we can do this. So let's take grasp of that. Let's grab onto that potential, the positives. Let's grab onto that and do something with 2021. Let's make something out of ourselves. So my challenge to you, look at how you've grown. Look at your potential and figure out what you want to do in 2021. Maybe you've spread yourself too thin and you're looking at 50 million things and you're trying to be something for everyone and do something in every arena. You're trying to be a photographer, a videographer, a artist, a streamer, a creative here and do this and that. And you can't do everything all the time. You can do it, but it's not going to be great. So this year, be great. Be great at what you do. Focus in on something and be great at it. Do it. Do it well. Excel at it. Grow, learn. Maybe you want to do something new this year. Then do it. Pursue that direction, but make a list, not resolutions. Obviously, we have the surface things that we want to do better. We want to eat healthier. We want to work out. We want to build relationships. We want to be better employees. We want to be better parents. That's all good and great. But at the end of the day, how do you get there? You get there by changing your mindset, by changing your mentality, by changing your perspective on the world and on yourself. And that's the biggest thing, is the perspective. To change the world starts with yourself. Change your perspective. Be different. Be better. So what does that look like for you? I don't know. What that looks like for me, as I mentioned a little bit before, planning my days out better, planning my weeks out, putting effort in where I need to put effort in and taking effort away from where I don't need to be putting in the effort. Focusing in on a few pursuits to be really good at them. Connecting with people on a deeper level. Looking at relationships and removing the toxic relationships from your life. The things that are draining you and dragging you down. And then putting effort into those relationships that are building you up, those friendships, with those friends that lift you up and push you further. Now, you're going to have relationships that you're going to invest in, that you're going to be the only one investing in. That's fine, but you got to know when to cut them out. You got to know when to shift the tide. That's a whole nother podcast for another time, and I think I already talked about toxic relationships in the past. But 2021 is a great time to hit the reset button. So maybe it's not hitting the reset button. Maybe it's, like we've talked about before on this podcast, it's closing that chapter and starting a new one. Because I don't want to reset and start over. I don't want to wipe the slate clean and start over. The fact that the slate is messy and dirty means that work has been done. There's dust on the floor. There's broken stuff on the floor. Because we've been working. Because we've been growing. We've been chipping away. Sweep it up. Clean it up. But don't ask for a fresh start. Ask for a new chapter. Look at starting new, starting fresh, in the terms of taking the experiences that you had, applying those experiences, and moving forward. It's kind of like in video games. I'm going to nerd on you for a second here. So a lot of video games have started adding things called Game Plus. And what Game Plus does, when you finish a game, there's nothing else. You get the end credits, and you're kind of like, well, damn, I enjoyed that game. I want to play it more. Well, what developers have started adding is something called Game Plus, which lets you start the game from the beginning, but with everything you've already acquired. All your skills, all your gear, all your knowledge. And it lets you play through the game on a harder difficulty to unlock better stuff, new stuff, with more challenge. But again, you've got all the experience, the gear, the levels, and all the character stuff that you've acquired already. So you're not starting from a fresh slate again. You're not doing that new struggle of trying to discover everything and find all the hidden stuff. You know where it is now. But now you're going in equipped. You're going in prepared. You're ready for the next challenge, the new challenge, and the new things to unlock. So let's look at 2021 as Life Plus. You're taking all of your experiences, you're taking your trials, your bad times, and we're not going to let those weigh us down anymore. We're not going to wear the 2020 challenges and issues as scars. We're going to wear them as experience, as badges, as milestones that say, this is what I've come through, this is what I've accomplished, and use that to focus on where we're going. Take the experiences, the lessons, what you've learned about yourself in 2020 and this crazy, weird pandemic that we're going through, but the new experiences, and take those and apply those to your life now and figure out where the hell you want to go and what you want to do. I think we limit ourselves in what we do. We don't think we're great enough for things. Be great in your own way. You might not be, the president of the United States. You might not be Miss America. You might not win a Nobel Prize. But you can change lives where you are. First, change your life. Then change the lives of those around you, your family, then your friends, then your coworkers. Be someone that leaves a legacy. Be someone that leaves a place better than they found it. That's always my hope and goal, is to leave places and people better than I found them. Recently at work, I had a coworker leave. And, when coworkers leave, it's sad. Okay. You're going to miss them. They're great people. They're great to work with, and they brought something to the team. But sometimes you have a coworker that leaves and it's like a family member left. This coworker was a really good friend of mine who helped me through some hard times. They were there for me beyond work. They were there for me personally through my separation. They supported me. They were that voice of reason that I needed in those times when I got in my head to say, hey, that's enough. You need to move on. But at work, they were the person that brought a lot to the table. They brought new perspectives. They brought energy. They brought excitement. When they were around for shoots, they were fun. They were someone you enjoyed being around. And they left the place better than they found it. They left a giant gap. And it's not a bad thing per se. You can fill the gap. People, your job, we can find people to do your job, but it's that personality, that person that you're losing that's sad, that's hard. And so she's on to bigger and better things. I'm excited for her future, but she's going to be missed, and she knows this. So that's the thing. Be the type of person, wherever you are, that when you leave, people want you to come back. People long for you. People miss you. That's my hope, and that's my goal for 2021, that I make an impact on my world. And by making an impact on your world, your sphere of influence, you'll make a bigger impact. See, I think that's the thing. And this is another podcast I'm going to get into about leadership, because I love leadership and I read leadership books and I'm big on it. It's something I've done for a long time. And I think that's the thing about a lot of people. A lot of people think they're leaders, and you're not really a leader. Okay. Sir, can everybody lead? Sure. Should everybody lead? No. You lead And some people are meant to be leaders, okay? Like you're going to lead big organizations or groups and stuff. It doesn't mean you can't be a leader on a small scale. You're a leader in that, maybe you have 2 or 3 people that look up to you. You're leading them. You're a leader. But not everybody's meant to be a giant big leader, like a big L leader. Be a little L leader and be okay with that. Be okay with where you are. Know your scope. Anyway, that's a whole nother podcast we'll get into later. But my point is 2021, make a difference in your sphere of influence. Those people around you. Be great with what's given to you on a small scale. And then if you can ascend to a higher level, if you can grow to new heights, then you've known how to influence, how to love, how to care for people, and how to lead on a small scale. Then you can be a leader on a bigger scale. Then you can make a difference on a bigger scale. Move your way up. We want glory. We want the trophies without the work, without having to get there. People don't win Olympic competitions overnight. They win town competitions, then they win city, then they win state, then they win maybe region, then nationals, then they move on to internationals. It's years of hard work. It's years of the loss, of the defeats. Defeat is okay. It's going to happen. You're going to lose. Live with it. Use it as fuel. All right, one more analogy, then we'll wrap this sucker up because I think this fits in. My youngest daughter, freaking adorable, 9 years old, wanted a skateboard for Christmas. All right. Sure. Okay. So my ex got her a skateboard and she brought it over to Dad's for the weekend. And I was helping her learn how to skateboard. I'm not a great skateboarder, but I understand the principles, so I'm teaching her. So the lesson in it is that you're going to fall. You're going to get hurt. That's what happens. But as long as you pick yourself up, you get back on the board and you keep going, you're going to learn. You're going to learn what to do differently. Because even the greats, Tony Hawk, Rodney Mullen, all those dudes, they've fallen so many times. They still fall. I was watching. That was the funny thing. I was like, Bella, have you heard of a person named Tony Hawk? And she's like, no. I was like, oh, we're going to learn you today. And we went and watched skate videos on YouTube, and she was wowed by the ridiculous stuff that these people were doing. And Tony Hawk, he's in his 40s now, and the dude's still insanely good. But even in the videos from 2020, Tony Hawk's videos, he still falls. He still messes up 70 times before he gets a trick right. And I think it was a great lesson for her to see that you're going to mess up. You're going to fall. Sure, on YouTube, on TV, you see the great moments. You see the wins. You don't see all the losses in between that shape a person into the champion that they are, into the individual that they are. You don't see all the hurt and pain in a person's life that has shaped them to that moment. You don't see the trials. You only see the triumphs. And that's okay. Sometimes that's all you need to see. But get to know a person and understand where they come from if it's something you want to achieve. Nobody gets there overnight, and that's okay. 2021. Let's not hit the reset button. Let's not go back to normal. Let's find the new normal. Let's live life plus. And let's also take the mentality of Bella, my 9-year-old, as she rides her skateboard and I'm helping her and she started skating on herself a little bit and getting her balance. Her mentality, she kept saying, I'm getting really good at this. I'm getting really good at this. Now, the cynic inside of me, the adult that's been beaten up by life, wants to say, okay, let's calm down. Let's slow down. You're getting good, but you just now started. Okay, you're not that great. That's what we want to tell ourselves. That's what we want to tell each other. But instead, I took the stance of dad. I took stance of support. I took stance of encouragement. One, because I'm like, holy shit, look at my daughter and look how positive she is in her small world and her perspective of she started to get the balance on her own. So in her head, she's getting better, and she was getting better. That's the reality of it is that the more she practiced, the better she got. And to her, she's getting better. She's getting really good at this. And I was like, you know what, Bella? You are. Keep practicing. You keep practicing, you'll get even better. But congratulations, you are getting really good at this. And thank you for showing your dad how to look at things. the small wins that I have in my life, whether it's my streaming, whether it's my photography, whether it's work, whether it's psychology, celebrate those wins. Hey, I'm getting good at this. Just today I was reading something where if you have 5 average viewers on Twitch, which I've got about 5 average viewers now, you're in the top 5% of Twitch streamers. That's mind-blowing considering how many thousands and millions of people there are trying to stream. Celebrate the small victories. We hit our sub goal this year. We hit 50 subs. Celebrate the small victories. We have a growing audience. We're connecting with people. Celebrate the small victories. I get up in the mornings and I don't feel depressed anymore. Celebrate the victories. I feel happy. I'm positive. I have things I'm looking forward to. Celebrate the victories. I could title this podcast so many different things. I could title it, fuck normal. Don't hit the reset button. We could title it 2021 New Year Who Dis. Hashtag New Year, New You. But I think I'm going to go with Life Plus. Let's live life with all the experiences that we have up to now, but not the burdens, not the losses. Let's learn from it. Let's move forward and not start over forgetting everything. But remember where we come from, and let's look at where we're going and go together. Guys, I love you all. Thanks so much for hanging out. A little bit longer podcast. I went on some rants there. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. But let's live life to the fullest. Let's live Life Plus. Let's move forward and support each other. I'm here for you. You've been here for me. Thank you so much for a great year. The positivity, the encouragement, it helps keep me motivated and pushes me forward. So 2021 is going to be a big year. A lot more focus on the podcast and my content. I'm excited about it, looking forward to it. Remember, if you need to talk, I'm here. You can reach out to me, check my social medias, Insights into a Soul. It's on Facebook, Instagram. We're all over the place. insightsintoasoul@gmail.com if you want to get me directly. I promise I'll check my email more and look forward to more regular podcasts. So guys, love each other, love yourself. Until next time, see you guys. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Insights into a Soul. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to like and subscribe and to share it with your friends. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Insights into a Soul, on Instagram @TornH. And if you have suggestions for future episodes or topics, or if you'd like to be on the podcast, contact us, insightsintoasoul@gmail.com.